You know, it was actually pretty difficult to choose the top 10 minifigures for 2024. Overall, I just noticed an increase in quality from the previous year, and there was a lot more of things like dual molding and leg printing and even arm printing that tends to get us minifigure fans excited. But anyway, let's take a look at my best attempt to narrow down the extensive list of great minifigures to a mere 10. Up first, I do think we have to highlight the awesome minifigures that are coming out of the... not Fabuland. Shoot. The Fabuland knockoff theme. Animal Crossing, we got there. So I've specifically chosen to highlight Isabelle at the number 10 spot, but honestly, there's probably plenty of Animal Crossing figures that are just as good as her too. The crazy molds that they've introduced for all these characters' heads kind of boggles my mind. And people obviously love these figures too, because each of them, even though they come in relatively inexpensive sets, goes for like $10 to $15 on Bricklink. It's insane. But yeah, even as an Animal Crossing outsider, I really do like these guys, and it makes me hopeful that we will eventually get Fabuland 2. Even though most of the minifigures included in the collector's edition of the Burrow were pretty standard, one certainly stands out, and that's Molly Weasley. For me, it's really just the vibrant printing on the arms that make this figure so fun and so memorable. The updated face print on this character serves her really well. She's got an alternate expression too, which I think is fantastic. It's very much the
"Where have you been?"
The Dune Ornithopter was one of my favorite sets of the year, and one of the reasons for that was honestly the incredible minifigure selection, but my favorite of the batch is probably Lady Jessica. It's always really cool to see LEGO minifigures decked out in pearl gold like this, and when you get extra gold, shiny printing on top of it, they just feel super deluxe. I love how they've captured this very iconic look from the first Dune movie. The number 7 spot is going to go to the Ice Planet Explorer from the LEGO Space CMF that came out at the beginning of the year. Collectible minifigure series tend to be a treasure trove of wonderful minifigure parts, and the space one was especially great for fans of classic space themes. And even if I didn't grow up with things like Ice Planet, I could still really appreciate a figure like this. The only downside of this particular figure is that she didn't bring back transparent neon orange. The number 6 figure has been a dream figure of not only me, but also plenty of other LEGO fans throughout the ages. And we finally got a LEGO Belle minifigure. And I'm sure glad they didn't cheap out on her. No, we've got dual molded arms, we've got front and back printed dress. She looks absolutely perfect. The worst thing about this particular figure, which can pretty much be said for most of the figures in this list, is just how hard she is to obtain. At the time of recording this in mid-November, she was selling on Bricklink for $50, which is literally half the price of the set she comes in, which, you know, has an extra 1,000 pieces beyond her. So yeah, I ended up buying a $100 set just to get this figure, which I'm sure is exactly what LEGO wants us to do. But LEGO, fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. I was not going to buy the new Legends of Zelda set just to get the Link minifigure. But even so, he definitely deserves the number 5 spot on this list. Without having him in person, it's hard to make any more comments other than, ooh, pretty. But does really anything else need to be said? They did a great job with this minifigure, and it is completely unsurprising that he also is selling for something like $60 on the aftermarket. But thank goodness for CMFs, because they give us minifigures at a somewhat reasonable price. At least I don't have to buy a $300 set to get this guy. Again, I don't have a lot of personal experience with M-Tron, but I think this guy really captures the vibe quite perfectly. I mean, the only thing he's missing is a trans neon green visor, and of course, LEGO killed transparent neon green too. I am excited to see the insane influx of M-Tron related mocks at Brickworld Chicago next year. It's gonna be pretty awesome. All right, we're getting into the top 3, and we've got another CMF entry here at 3rd place. That's gonna be my favorite figure from the Dungeons & Dragons CMF, the Lady of Pain. While I imagine many of you will be putting the Dragon Paladin here, it's the vibrant colors of this figure that really do it for me. And I don't know, there's something about a double-sided printed dress piece that is just always so good. The cape here too is loads of fun, but of course the highlight is the elaborate headdress. I don't think this figure is going to be particularly useful for anything but the Lady of Pain, but honestly, that's okay. She looks good just being who she is. My second favorite figure of 2024 is Saw Gerrera, one of the special anniversary Star Wars minifigures from this past year. Yet again, I was suckered into buying that whole set just for this minifigure, who also goes for half the retail price of the entire set on Bricklink. Rogue One has always been one of my favorite Star Wars projects, so it's always great to see a callback to that particular film, especially when it's done this well. Custom printed cape, printed armor piece, printed legs, printed torso front and back, dual expressions. This is everything you want to see out of a LEGO minifigure. And that brings us to our number 1 spot. And that for me, without a doubt, is Sauron. I love Lord of the Rings. I think over the years it has produced some of LEGO's best minifigures, and even though for the most part the recent minifigures haven't lived up to the originals, this is a character that I never thought we'd see in minifigure form, so the fact that he exists at all is really, really cool. And with his beautifully printed gunmetal torso and legs and very specialized armor headdress piece, his likeness is recreated pretty perfectly here in minifigure form. It's Lord of the Rings minifigures like these that continually get me excited about what the Icons theme might produce next for LEGO Lord of the Rings. After all, we do have the Shire rumored for next year. Who knows what that could entail? I can't imagine they'd include Saruman in that set, but they should. And if they did, I would love to see him done to the same level as Sauron is here. But anyway, those were my favorite minifigures of the year. Are there any that you think I missed? Let's fight about it in the comments. Thank you as always for staying here to the end. I really do appreciate that. And I hope you have yourself a fantastic life.